What is up, JG sports fans? And today we are going to be filling out our bracket for the 2025 NBA playoffs. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, as you can see here, I have my bracket for the NBA playoffs pulled up here on the ESPN Tournament Challenge. I will have a link in the description if I can make a link for the NBA playoff challenge. I have restrictions on YouTube where sometimes I can't make a link, but if I can, I will have a link in the description if you want to play along in this tournament challenge. As you can see here, let's talk about the seeding first. Thunder finished first. The Rockets finished second. The Lakers finished third. The Nuggets finished fourth. The Clippers clinched the fifth seed yesterday with a win over my Golden State Warriors. Timberwolves have the sixth, and then the 7 seed is the Warriors. The 8's the Grizzlies. 9 is the Kings. 10 is the Mavericks. Important game tomorrow. Grizzlies will play at the Warriors for the 7th spot. And then the 10-9 game tomorrow, which is going to be the Kings and Mavericks. Or Mavericks at Kings will be a do-or-die game there. Again, for both conferences, the winner of the 10-9 game plays the loser of the 7-8 game. And then they play for the 8 seed. Winner of the 7-8 game gets the 7 seed, and that's how seeding works. I think the play-in tournament was kind of a pointless thing to do. Obviously, for a competitive Western Conference, it works, but honestly, even though the West is competitive, I don't feel that having the play-in makes any sense. Like, it's rare. There was one year where the Grizzlies came into the play-in as a 9 and ended up getting the 8, but, like, that's not going to happen on a regular basis. And by the way, the play-in in the East is just really boring. That's going to be Atlanta or Orlando for the 7 seed. And then the 10-9 game is going to be Heat at the Bulls. So that's going to be really boring. Nonetheless, let's start with the Western Conference. So, obviously, I'm going to pick the Thunder to play against the 8 seed. I'm going to say the 8 seed is going to be probably the Grizzlies, because I think what's going to happen is Sacramento beats Dallas at home, Memphis loses against the Warriors, and then the Grizzlies can beat Sacramento in a close game at home this week on Friday. On Friday to get in. And OKC will probably beat the Grizzlies, I'm going to say, in 5 games to get the playoffs started. There'll be 1 game, probably in Memphis, where Ja Morant just goes off and the Grizzlies barely survive and beat the Thunder in a thrilling way. But otherwise, I think the Thunder dominate that series. Ooh, this is going to be a good series. Nuggets against Clippers. I don't know who to pick for this one. I got to be real, guys. I don't know who to pick. The Clippers have 8 straight wins into the postseason. The Nuggets have fired their head coach, Michael Malone, so their interim head coach has never coached a playoff game before. He's been assistant in a playoff game, but that's different. I'm going to say the Nuggets win in 6 games, but that's just, like, that might happen. I mean, I say the Nuggets win in 6 games, assuming that because I say they won in 6 games because I'm assuming that the Nuggets will be able to win both the first 2 games on their home court. But if they lose game 1 Saturday or heck game 2, like if they lose game 1 and the series is tied 1-1 back to LA, I mean, I think the Clippers have the advantage. Well, I think this is really close. I say Nuggets in 6. I'm going to say 6 or 7, to be honest. Probably more likely 6, but 7's possible too. I mean, I don't know how the Nuggets will do if they have to go to LA. I think the Nuggets can win a road game, though. At least 1. Well, I'm not saying it would be, like, the series would be over if the Nuggets are down or the series is tied going to LA. I think even if the Nuggets and Clippers were tied at 1-1, the Nuggets would be able to win a road game to come back tied 2-2 to Denver. I'm going to say 6 or 7. But anyways, I have no clue who's going to win that series. We're just going to have a lot of these series, guys, is going to be, we're kind of just going to have to see how it plays out. The Thunder, we're not going to have to see how it plays out because, I mean, whoever plays the Thunder is basically leftovers for them. They just got to take care of business against. So, nothing much there. As you can see here, first game will be 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time on ESPN on Saturday in Denver. This game will be played Saturday at 6:30 on ABC. all times I'm saying are in the Mountain Time. This game's 3:30 p.m. Eastern in Denver on ESPN on Saturday. This one's 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC in LA on Saturday. And this one's tough. But ultimately, I'm going to go with the Lakers. Listen, Minnesota, they made one really bad move. Their season ended up being a lot different than it could have been. Yes, they still have Anthony Edwards. Yes, they still have Rudy Gobert. Yes, they still have Naz Reid. But the fact that they have Karl-Anthony Towns gone now, and they tried to replace him with Julius Randle. Guys, I don't care what you say. Julius Randle has not been consistently healthy. Heck, even this year, Julius Randle is not going to be able to make enough of an impact on the series for the Timberwolves, which is why the Lakers win the series. And they'll win in 6. Probably. But I just don't. I mean, again, this might be a little bit of a coincidence, but also note Luka Doncic is playing Rudy Gobert. And every time it always goes wrong for Rudy Gobert against Luka. Luka knows that Rudy Gobert, and I'm going to talk some trash here, even though I don't care for any of these teams. It has been proven, I think Luka has proven enough, that Rudy Gobert cannot guard Luka Doncic. It doesn't matter. If the game is close, 1-point game, tie game, and Luka's isolated against Rudy Gobert, you better know he's going to hit a big shot. You just better know. Luka's going to cook Rudy Gobert. I know the Lakers don't have that big center, but the fact that Minnesota's center is Julius Randle, who is not going to have anywhere close to an impact that Karl-Anthony Towns did last year, for example, in the series, really, against the Nuggets. Karl-Anthony Towns won that series against the Nuggets. If Minnesota were to have Julius Randle instead of Cat last year, and they played the Nuggets in the second round, they were not going to win that series. That's all I'm saying. All right, now we have these Rockets who are going to host a series who I think is going to be the Warriors as a 7. Again, I think the Warriors with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, playoff Jimmy can show up. The more I think about it, this series could go either way. But I'm going to trust Houston, specifically because they host the series. The Warriors just are a very team. You know, I expect the Warriors are probably going to play Jimmy Butler in the play-in tomorrow. But if we have any concerns with health for Jimmy Butler, or heck, even Steph Curry at that thumb, I mean, it's going to be bad for the Warriors. You're hearing this from a Warriors fan. The inconsistencies, the rebound, the Warriors just are not good at rebounding the basketball, and that's a problem in the playoffs. I don't know how good of it. If Houston's anywhere good of a rebounding team, it's going to be really tough for us to win games, especially on the road. Really, you can lose any game if you can't rebound the basketball well. Again, I said Houston in 6. This is probably going to be the case. But yeah. I think if the Warriors can, play consistent basketball, some of the things that we've seen have them cost games is they lost their last 4, and it's been mainly because of turnovers. It's really been the turnovers. They've not been great from the free throw line as of late, and you have to be good from the free throw line. And they've struggled rebounding at times. And I know the Rockets are a young team, but I think the Rockets can beat anybody if they play a poor rebounding team. So I'm going to take Houston there. All right, nonetheless, let's go on to the East first round. Okay, the Cavaliers are probably going to play Chicago. I think Chicago. So let's go over what I think for the 10-9, Miami at Chicago. Give me the Bulls for that game. I think the Atlanta-Orlando game will be the Hawks winning to get the 7. I think that the Bulls will go into Orlando and win. Okay? I think Orlando loses back-to-back home games not to miss the playoffs. I know I sound crazy, but I think that's exactly what's happened here. Cavs in the series against Chicago in 6. I think the Cavs are. I get they're a 1 seed, but I think there's a lot of glazing that goes around about the Cavs. They're not as good as people say. I know they're probably a top contender because they're a 1 seed, but still, they've won 60 games, but you haven't seen anything from them. They have not been impressive yet with this coaching staff, with this group. They're gonna have to prove it, and to a certain extent, they haven't proved it. On a consistent basis, they've been inconsistent. We'll just have to see how they play in these playoffs, but I don't expect anything crazy from them. We'll talk about the Cavs in a little bit. Bucks Pacers. This will actually be 1:00 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, the first game of the day. Indiana in 4 or 5. This is not going to be close. I mean, if Milwaukee gets back Dame, they might stand a little bit of a chance. They have Giannis, but otherwise, they just don't have talent. Their bench is terrible. Milwaukee's just not going to be able to keep up in this series. It might not be 5 games if they get Dame back, but still, I don't expect Milwaukee to win the series. They're not a good team. I think they are, to a certain extent, kind of lucky they got in the playoffs. They're lucky that they were as healthy as they were throughout the whole season. The Bucks were an extra Giannis or Damian Lillard injury away from having to play in the play-in, or heck, missing the playoffs entirely. That's all with Milwaukee, really. Knicks Pistons. Give me Detroit in 6. Guys, no one wants to play the Detroit Pistons. Okay, no one wants to. New York has not proved they can beat any good teams. They really struggle against teams 500 or above. All they have going for them is Karl-Anthony Towns, and I think that also that Jalen Brunson can be clutch sometimes, but still, Detroit has so many good players that can change the game. I don't think any of these players are like superstars except for Cade Cunningham. He's the best player in this series for sure. But otherwise, I think Detroit is better as a group, as a team. I definitely expect them. I think they're going to win game 1. So yeah, give me Detroit in 6 for that series. Celtics, I expect to play the Hawks. Give me the Celtics in 5. I think they just have Atlanta outmatched. Boston's gonna have firepower. They're a defending champ. We're gonna have to talk about this series in a minute, and it's gonna get interesting. Okay. I think we have an easy one to start the conference semis. Give me the Thunder in 5 over the Nuggets. Or could be 6. I don't know. I'm going to say 5. I don't think the Nuggets can keep up with the Thunder except for Nikola Jokic. I mean, the Nuggets just don't have a strong bench. Certainly, I should have talked about that in the LA series. They don't have a strong bench, but the Clippers don't have that strong of a bench either, so I don't think it's going to affect them in round 1. When you got to play the Thunder, I mean, you have the best basketball player probably scoring-wise, and the ability to draw fouls, the best at that in SGA. Jokic could be argued with that, but I'd say, I'll say SGA is probably the second best scorer in the league against the number 1 scorer. Jokic is probably the best scorer in the NBA. But otherwise, for the Nuggets against that Thunder defense, I mean, I don't know how they're going to be able to. I mean, we're going to have to see. Are they going to be able to score? I mean, we know the Nuggets, guys. They've had defensive inconsistencies throughout the year. I just question if they'll be able to keep up with like really good Thunder defense. Can they get good perimeter shooting out of Michael Porter Jr., which they didn't get in that Minnesota series last year? Can Jamal Murray be playoff Jamal, or is he going to have a rough series for the most part like he did against the Timberwolves last year? Is the Nuggets bench going to be able to get it done? And I don't believe they will, which is why I think the Thunder win the series. I think the Nuggets are pretty badly outmatched in this series, and OKC is just so good. I mean, I can't think of a real weakness with OKC. You'd really have to dig deep to find one. All right, Lakers and Rockets. LA in 6. This is where playoff experience haunts teams. Round 2. Houston has some good veterans like Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams, right? And this is probably why the Warriors will have a chance against them. I probably won't win in a series against them. Has some veterans, but they have guys like Amar Thompson and Jalen Green, who we haven't seen have playoff experience. Their center Sengun, we haven't seen. I just don't think. I know Houston has a good defense, but I don't think they can stop both Luka and LeBron. I think that's too much offensive firepower for the Rockets to handle. And Jalen Green showed a consistency in the offensive end, and the Lakers can play good defense. And the Lakers have a solid bench too. Also, you have to account for Austin Reeves. He's been good on offense as well. For Houston, their scoring is going to come from Amar Thompson and Jalen Green. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston wins this series. I just think it's unlikely. I think the Lakers are a little bit too much for them to handle. But again, like, it's not impossible for Houston to win. I just don't think they will win this series. I don't think they're there yet, but they're getting close. And their coach is incredible, by the way. No one expected them to be the two. You have to credit Houston there. Cleveland against Indiana. This series, I've had to think through a lot. When I first looked at the playoffs and I knew that this was probably going to be a second round matchup, I said, I think Indiana can win the series. But then I remembered the Pacers really struggle at rebounding the basketball. Like they're like consistently struggle at rebounding the basketball. Cavs are just a taller and bigger team. I think Cleveland wins the series in like 6 or 7 games. It will be close, but I just think Indiana's going to get overwhelmed in certain games because they are not a good rebounding team. Guys like Jared Allen on that team, with players like Donovan Mitchell, where if you give them second chance opportunities, you're doomed to fail, basically. Oh man. This series, I have no clue. And I know you guys are saying Detroit doesn't have the playoff experience. You really think the Celtics are going to beat them? Is it really this hard? Yeah, it kind of is. Last time that a repeating champion made it past this point, okay, was the 2018-2019 Golden State Warriors. That's the last time it happened. They ended up going on to the finals and losing to Kawhi for the Warriors to some heartbreaking injuries to KD and Klay Thompson. Basically, ending the dynasty as we know. But the Warriors have been somewhat relevant since. I don't know who to pick. I don't. I mean, the Nuggets were up 20 last year in a series like this and still couldn't make it to the West Finals as a repeating champ. Guys, this is not an impossible series for the Pistons to win. It's not. I think Boston wins in 6, but like I kind of thought about picking the Pistons. Like, I don't think this is an easy pick. Like, Detroit could win the series. It's definitely possible. I mean, the Pistons are not like the most talented team in the world. They're not the most. They're not the best as athletes. But like as a team, they can come together and beat this Boston team. And the Celtics have struggled a little bit this year in clutch time offensively. So if any game ends up being close, Detroit has the favor of that. My question is if there's too many close games for the Celtics in this series, can they hold on and win? I don't know. I'm gonna say yes. I don't know I don't think there's gonna be enough close games where Detroit will necessarily win the series, but don't sleep on the Pistons. They are a sleeper team. I'm telling you guys. No one wants to play this team, including the Celtics. And now we are at the conference finals. For the West Finals, I will take the Thunder. But, I'll be close. I'll take them to win in 6. But the Lakers are going to be a tough out for the Thunder. They're just going to be. Luka and LeBron on a team is not who you want to play necessarily. There are people who think that the Lakers could win a Western Conference Finals. Same situation with the Celtics. If certain things don't go the Thunder's way, although the Thunder are a good team offensively in clutch time in close games, so I think the Thunder will be fine there. But again, the Lakers could beat them. You just never know. A LeBron and Luka team, they can do it. They can. The Lakers have enough depth at the bench on their bench to have a chance. It could possibly make that Thunder defense look silly. But I think that since the Thunder have improved offensively since last year, I think they'll be okay. I will take the Celtics to win in 5 against Cleveland. I know it sounds weird that I say I think they'll win in 6 against Detroit, but in 5 against Cleveland. Guys, the Cavs are just... I mean, the Pacers, I got to be honest. The Cavs kind of have a lucky matchup. This is why getting the 1 seed is rewarding. Because nonetheless, if they get the Bucks, they could lose. But probably not. I don't even think the Bucks are good at all. But like, even if they get Indiana, because they're playing a bad rebounding team, they're lucky in that certain spot. I'm telling you guys, I think literally the East, I'm picking the Celtics to go to the finals. But I think the East boils down to this series right here. I think the team that goes to the NBA Finals, it comes down to this series. Detroit wins this series, I think they have a chance to go to the finals. And yes, I think they can beat Cleveland if they make it there in the conference finals. Okay? But ultimately, I'm going to go with Boston. I'm going to go with the experience. Don't count Detroit. All right, NBA Finals. I'm gonna go with OKC to win. To be honest, I'm gonna say they win in 6. I think they can split the first 2 in Boston, go to their house and win 2. They'll lose a game 5, but I think they can come home and win a game 6. And Boston probably can win, but I think I'm gonna say this is one. How many points will the Finals MVP score in the playoffs? I think the Finals MVP will be SGA ultimately. I'm gonna say he scores around 23.2. And I said the Thunder will win in 5 here, so 10, 16, of 22 games, which means he'll score 510. Say 510. But there you go. Guys, this playoff bracket might suck. I don't know. I hope it's good. I feel like I know the NBA, but I just had to note a couple things because I don't think it's a given that Boston goes back to the finals. It's going to be tough for Boston to repeat as champs, Celtics fans. It's going to be tough for y'all to repeat as champs, but I think it's possible. But yeah, that is your boy JG Sports' playoff bracket for the NBA. I've got the Thunder winning it all. Let me know who you have winning the NBA Finals. Let me know who your sleeper teams are, and yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.